before we go, the biggest supermoon of the year is lighting up skies across the world. And we can show you what it looked like over Sydney on Wednesday evening, rising above the iconic Bondi Beach, known as the Beaver supermoon. It's considered a supermoon because it is closer to the Earth than usual, making it look much larger and brighter. And take a look at this view from Bosnia. This is called the Beaver moon because it happens in November, and that's a time of year when beavers are busy preparing for winter. Now we'll leave you with more images of the supermoon as you can see it there. And just to tell you, they're coming up on business today. The US Supreme Court has grilled the Trump administration on the legality of its sweeping tariff policy. I'll have those details for you coming up in a few moments' time. See you soon.
Tell us about the picture behind you.
Isn't it gorgeous, Sarah? Good morning, both. Good morning to you too. This is a picture from Jenny, one of our weather watchers. It was taken last night in Derbyshire off the supermoon, the Beaver supermoon. It's the biggest and brightest we're going to see this year. There is another supermoon on the 4th of December if you missed it.
Carol, you've got a gorgeous picture this morning. Hello.
Good morning, both. Good morning to you. Ben, you're right. This is beautiful. This one was sent in from Nottinghamshire by Tammy. Just look at that. And if you missed the Beaver supermoon last night, there is another supermoon on the 4th of December. That's the cold supermoon, one to watch out for. Hopefully the weather will play ball that time.
And we've been talking, haven't we, about the largest, brightest supermoon of the year, which lit up the night sky, offering the opportunity for those lucky enough to catch a glimpse of it. And so many of you have been sending in your photos to us here at Breakfast. So thank you for that. Let's take a look at some of them. This image was sent in by one viewer who said it showed the moon with a halo.
This one's showing the moon as it rises above a row of houses. Jenny in Faversham sending us her photo, saying it's the moon at its brightest.
And let's take a look at Karen in Swanage in Dorset sent us this stunning image of the moon in a hazy sky. You can just see it there.
Oh, look at this one, though. This is a stunning image. Showing the moon at its brightest over Aberdyfi, that's in Wales. There it is. Thank you for sending all your pictures. Keep them coming in. There's loads coming in because everybody, depending, of course, where you are, what the weather was doing, you know, kind of what vantage point you have, send in the pictures. Carol was telling us a little earlier, though, that if the weather didn't play along for you last night, if it was a little bit cloudy, there is another chance to see it on December the 4th. So fingers crossed that the skies are clear that night, too.
You've been sending in your pictures. You've captured some amazing images. This is George Story. Sent us his picture. This is the Beaver supermoon alongside Big Ben.
Kevin Northam sent us this picture with a bit of cloud. That's over Banbury last night.
Yeah, some crystal clear pictures, though, from Hugh Pigeon, who took this image in Oxford. Look at that, presumably with a really good camera.
Yeah, telescope, I think, maybe involved there. Helen in Dorset sent us this one, showing us a bit more blue-hued picture of the supermoon last night.
Oh, thank you for all of those pictures. Absolutely fantastic.
10:07, let's talk about what we could see, possibly, if you were lucky last night and there wasn't too much cloud, the largest, brightest supermoon of the year. The opportunity for some, if you were lucky, to catch a glimpse of that phenomenon.
Yeah, look at it. Professional and amateur photographers around the world have been capturing images of the so-called Beaver moon, including this one. It shows an aircraft as it passed over the moon as it headed for the island of Gran Canaria.
This is a picture from Australia, people gathering there to witness the supermoon as it rose over North Bondi in Sydney.
Oh, pretty spectacular there. Well, we're joined now by Dr. Megan Argo, an astrophysicist from the University of Lancashire. Morning to you. I mean, maybe slightly cloudier across parts of the UK, not quite such a good view as there, or indeed here. But just tell us about the supermoon, or the Beaver moon, as it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So this is the, as you say, the largest supermoon of the year. So we've had, there will be 3 in a row. So October was a supermoon, November was a supermoon, and December will be another one. So December's will be slightly further away by about 240 kilometres. So that's not such that you'd see it with the eye, the difference between the two supermoons. But yeah, this is the biggest one of this particular year. The biggest one of the century will be in 2052.
OK.
But it will be 500 kilometres closer than it was last night. So again, not something that you'd necessarily notice unless you were taking careful pictures and measuring sizes. But
Talk to us about those distances, because that's what gives us the great view. But, you know, what's 500 kilometres between friends? I mean, these numbers are crazy anyway, aren't they? Just put them into a bit of context for us.
Sure. So the moon is about the quarter of the size of the Earth, and it's about 250,000 miles away.
Right.
So that's about 30 Earth diameters. So here is the Earth.
Yeah.
Here is the moon, roughly to scale. It's slightly smaller than it should be on the right scale. But you imagine these 11 metres apart, and that's the separation. So it's 30 Earth diameters. And the difference between normal, when it's 30 Earth diameters away, and a supermoon is when it's a supermoon, it's 28 Earth diameters away. So it's slightly closer, slightly further away. So the opposite effect is a micromoon, and that's when the moon is furthest away in its orbit.
And really tiny.
And, well, again, not so much that you'd really notice with the eye unless you were taking careful photographs, but at furthest away, it's 28 Earth diameters away. So that's the difference. It's 4 Earth diameters. And when you're 11 metres apart, you can imagine how much that makes a difference to the position of the moon.
We often talk about, obviously, the brightness of it and sometimes the colour as well, but that's more to do with the atmosphere, isn't it, rather than the moon itself? Yeah,
when the moon rises, when you get a supermoon, the best time to look is when it's on the horizon, when it's rising. And when you're looking at the moon on the horizon, you're looking through a lot of the Earth's atmosphere. And that has an effect on the light that's reaching you from the moon. So the moon doesn't generate its own light. The only light we see from the moon is reflected sunlight. So when sunlight passes through the atmosphere, the same effect happens when you see sunrise or sunset and you get those wonderful orange colours. The light gets scattered. And the same thing happens when the moon is on the horizon. Some of that blue light is scattered out and you see predominantly the red colours. So the moon will look redder when it's on the horizon when it rises.
And as we're seeing, it gives some amazing photographic opportunities. But from sort of your perspective, can you sort of see more detail? Are there things that you learn about the moon when it's that bit closer, that bit clearer?
When you take photographs with a camera setup, the closer the moon is, the more detail you'll see in your images, just because it's that bit much closer to you. But from an astrophysicist point of view, we have better photographs from things like the Apollo missions and hopefully soon from the Artemis missions as well, and from other spacecraft in orbit around the moon. So the difference from the Earth doesn't make a lot of difference to what we can do as astronomers, but it is lovely to look at, and it really does get people out and looking at the sky. And the moon is one of those things, I think, that it's a hook. If you can get people looking at the moon, it's accessible, it's easy, you don't need equipment to look at it. You can appreciate it just with your unaided eye. And once people start looking at the moon, they might want to explore other things. So, you know.
Well, there's so many rockets taking off at the moment, aren't there, and talking about space exploration and landing on the moon again. It feels like this is all sort of very current at the moment, doesn't it? It must be kind of exciting from your perspective.
It is. I'm really looking forward to seeing people back on the moon. I missed the 1969 moon landing. Not old enough, but I'm really looking forward to seeing people back on the moon. And hopefully next year, Artemis 2, currently scheduled for April, but that may well slip. We'll take people back to the moon for the first time since the 1970s, which would be exciting. And
the purpose of that is what? To establish more facts, and then ultimately, are we still thinking that there might be a possibility at some point in the future of a manned base on the moon? That's certainly the end goal of the Artemis programme, is to test the technology to the point where you can put a long-term base on the lunar surface. And where they're looking at doing that is near the South Pole, where we know that there's water ice deposits in some of the permanently shadowed craters. So there's been a lot of activity in the last couple of years with the small commercial missions going to that region and trying to see how easy that water ice would be to extract. If you can extract the water ice, then your astronauts have drinking water. They also have a way to make rocket fuel. And if you can test those technologies on the moon, and you can have a long-term base there, you can test your technologies, you can test how well the astronauts can survive, you can test all of their habitation equipment. You can then apply that to going to Mars, which again is the long-term goal of putting humans on Mars. Safer to do it on the moon first.
It's all fascinating stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. Dr. Meg Algo,
you.
thank you so much.